Hello, everybody. Welcome to the beautiful quiz with me, James Richardson. Woohoo! Quizzing. If there's one thing we've all spent lockdown doing, if there's a couple of things we've all spent lockdown doing, one of them is definitely answering quiz questions. Well, the great news is that tonight you get the chance to put your newfound knowledge to the test against friends and foe. Just head to btsport.com/the beautiful quiz and you can play along with us live. You can also test yourselves against two guests that we've got on the show tonight, two familiar faces from the BT Sport family. They are Chris Sutton and Peter Crouch. Wow, no wonder they call it the beautiful quiz, eh? Look at you guys. Chris, lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you. I love sarcasm, James.
No. You made a career of asking questions of defenders, but how are you at answering them?
Well, time will tell. I'm a little bit nervous. I've been prepping all day. I said to my daughter this morning, no homeschooling, big quiz tonight, the beautiful quiz. And here I am, I'm well prepped, raring to go.
Right. Well, maybe you'll be the guy getting schooled. We shall see, because look at that. Peter Crouch is here, and he's got a big bookcase. Peter.
I do have a lovely bookcase. I don't have a lot to do with the decor in this house, so God knows where we got that from. But yeah, I'm ready for the quiz. Been quizzing with my friends quite a bit. We do it most evenings. Love a football quiz, so I'm ready to go.
All right. Fantastic. This is, of course, all from home, so there might be a certain amount of lag. I'm sure we've all had this in our various social interactions online. We'll probably all be talking all over each other. We're going to introduce another element into the show now, because in the time-honoured quiz traditions of Dusty Bin or Bully or Debbie McGee, we've also got stats guru Duncan Alexander joining us. Hello, Duncan.
Hello, James. Thanks for comparing me to a literal dustbin. That's always good. So, but yeah, How you doing?
No, all very well. In the sense of being a cherished part of a quiz tradition. Still no haircuts at your end, eh?
No, I'm seeing what's going to happen, really. It's, fly away. Like it.
All right, good one. Now, very excitingly, you have had a hand in actually setting up the questions for today's quiz. Has that been fun?
Yes, me and some friends have been deep in the data vault. Possibly we dug too deep, but we'll find out. It should be an excellent quiz.
All right, brilliant. Well, along with providing the questions, you'll also be giving us the answers and keeping us up to date on the scores and the standings in the course of today's show, assuming the technology works. But if everybody's set, I think we can get rolling. We're going to have 6 rounds of footballing trivia. Should warn you that once you've submitted an answer, you can't change it. You will be on the clock. It is a timed quiz. And don't forget that, like the Eredivisie, there'll be no prizes at the end. Now, round 1 is all about Premier League goal scorers. So home ground this, really, for Chris and Peter. It's multiple choice. You can have 15 seconds per question. Good luck, everybody, because the round starts here. All right, question 1. Which of these players never won the Premier League Golden Boot? Dion Dublin, Kevin Phillips, or Wayne Rooney? Pick one of those. Who never won the Premier League Golden Boot? Dion Dublin, Kevin Phillips, or Wayne Rooney? Question 2. Which of these players has scored 30 or more goals in a Premier League season? Your options: Didier Drogba, Harry Kane, or Frank Lampard. Which one of those players has scored 30 or more goals in a single Premier League season? Drogba, Kane, or Lampard? On to question 3 then. Who is Liverpool's top scorer in the Premier League? Is it Robbie Fowler? Is it Steven Gerrard? Or is it Michael Owen? Peter Crouch probably bubbling just underneath the top 3 on that one. Top scorer in the Premier League for Liverpool: Fowler, Gerrard, or Owen? Question 4 then. Which of these players has not scored 100 or more goals in the Premier League? Has not scored over 100 or 100 more goals in the Premier League? Is it Darren Bent, Elmer Heskey, or that man there on your left, Chris Sutton? One of those 3 players. Question 5. Who's the highest scoring midfielder in Premier League history? I don't even need to give you the options probably, but it's Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes. Have a bang on that one. I think we've all got a point with question 5. On to question 6 then. Which player reached 50 Premier League goals with the fewest appearances? Who was the first of these three, or the fastest of these three, to get 50 Premier League goals? Les Ferdinand, Andy Cole, or Ian Wright? All right, moving on to question 7. It's all about golden boots. Which of these players, Harry Kane, Alan Shearer, or Thierry Henry, has won a record 4 Premier League golden boots? Harry Kane, Alan Shearer, Thierry Henry, they all scored a lot of goals, but which one has won a record 4 Premier League golden boots? We're coming to Crouch and Chris for their answers very shortly. But on to question 8. Who's the highest scoring non-English player in Premier League history? Sergio Aguero, Thierry Henry, or Luis Suarez? Alan Shearer, highest scoring English player, but who's the highest non-English scoring player who has scored the most? And question 9. Who is the highest scoring defender in Premier League history? 3 top options: Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, or Thomas Vermaelen. Highest scoring defender in Premier League history. And your final question for round 1 on goal scorers is: who is the only player to score a hat-trick on his Premier League debut? All Italian, the choices here. Was it Fabrizio Ravanelli, Gianluca Vialli, or Gianfranco Zola? Ravanelli, Vialli, or Zola, who got a hat-trick on their debut? Wow. How did you find that? Fiendish or fairly easy? Duncan, we're going to be going through the answers with you, and then I think also we'll see how Chris and Crouchy got on with their how they managed with their attempts at fielding those. A satisfied smile there, actually, I think, from Chris Sutton. How did you find it, Chris?
No, that's a grimace, James.
Oh,
that isn't a smile. Oh dear, certainly. Yeah. There were some tough ones, weren't there? Who won the most golden boots? I wasn't sure on that one. Was that Shearer or Henry?
Let's find out, eh? Duncan, you standing by with the answers? Let's go. Question 1. Which of those players never won the Premier League golden boot? Who was that?
Well, he won quite a lot, but this is Wayne Rooney.
Dion Dublin is on that list. Chris actually shared the golden boot with Dion and Michael Owen in '98. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yep, and we still share it.
Well,
yeah,
of course.
Lovely.
How nice.
Only with 18 goals.
You kind of pass it round. Excellent.
Yes,
Question 2 then. All right. Question 2. Which of those players had scored 30 or more goals in a single Premier League season, Duncan?
It's Harry Kane, and strangely did it in a season when he didn't win the Golden Boot. He got 30, and it was a season Mo Salah got 32. So a bit of a curveball.
Oh.
Extraordinary. Question 3. Robbie Fowler is Liverpool's top scorer in the Premier League, isn't he?
He is, with 128 goals.
Right. Peter, how many did you get for Liverpool?
I got for Liverpool 42, I think. Liverpool goals.
All right.
In 2.5 seasons, 3 seasons.
Bang average. No, that's that's pretty good. More than I got. Anyway, question 4. Which of these players has not scored 100 or more goals in the Premier League? Those are the options: Darren Bent, Emil Heskey, or Chris Sutton.
I'm sad to reveal that it is a certain Chris Sutton.
Oh, that's all.
Why are you sad, Duncan?
Well, in my mind, you got more goals than that, but in reality, it seems not. So,
Chris, at least you got a third of a golden boot.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Peter, you did get more than 100 goals in the Premier League.
I did, yes. I got 108 from Quite Bright.
Oh, that's very nice.
Not only that,
Excellent.
Peter scored 1.01% of all headed goals in Premier League history, which is impressive in my book.
Cool. That is very impressive.
That isn't it. Let's move on to question 5. Who was the highest scoring midfielder in Premier League history?
That is Frank Lampard with 177.
Of course. Question 6. Which player reached 50 Premier League goals with the fewest appearances?
An outstanding achievement, and it was Andy Cole in 65 matches.
Yes.
Wow, that is quick. Question 7. Which of those players has won a record for Premier League Golden Boots? The question that Chris was puzzling over.
Yeah, tricky one. It's Thierry Henry.
Oh,
Knew it.
Yeah.
I went for Shearer for the sheer number of goals, but I knew it was Henry. Should have got that.
That's what quizzing will do to you. The
Quizzing.
highs, the lows. Anyway, question 8. Who is the highest scoring non-English player in the Premier League's history? Duncan.
It is Sergio Aguero. And not only that, he's the second highest scoring player with his weaker foot, which I think is more impressive. He's closing in on Van
That
Persie.
is amazing. That is amazing. I'll just whiz through the last two because we've got to move on. Question 9. Who's the highest scoring defender in Premier League history?
Oh, you're
JT.
asking me?
Yes.
JT with 41.
Of
that's
course.
what you're here for.
John Terry, Chris's former teammate, but we won't stop for a comment. Question 10. Who was the only player to score a hat-trick on their Premier League debut?
Fabrizio Ravanelli.
Of course it was. Of course it was. All right. How did you guys get on there, Chris and Peter, while Duncan has a quick look at the leaderboard?
I got a solid 8.
I'm
You go
embarrassed at
first. You
6.
go first, Chris.
Yeah, I got a solid 8.
Okay. That is pretty solid, isn't it? And Peter, for you?
Yeah, I think it's good.
It is an embarrassing 6, I'm afraid. Got stumped with a couple of questions that I'm highly embarrassed.
Okay. Well, let's see how those scores rank among other quizzes, because there are literally thousands of people taking part alongside you guys. Duncan, who are the early leaders?
Well, we've got a handful of people with 10 out of 10, which is pretty impressive. So that includes the likes of Mr. Wenger, Zadok the Prince, Zadok the Priest, even Gurnan Anita, Sam McD, and quite a few others. So, yeah, keep going.
All right, we'll see how many can hang on to those perfect scores. Early days, of course, as we move on to round 2. This one's going to be all about goalkeepers. Once again, 10 questions. Once again, you've got 15 seconds to answer each one. And round 2 starts now. Question 1. Which of these fine goalkeepers has not scored a Premier League goal? Brad Friedel, Jens Lehmann, or Paul Robinson? Which one of those has not scored a Premier League goal? Question 2. Which of these 3 goalkeepers has kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League? Was it Petr Cech? Was it perhaps Joe Hart? Or was it Peter Schmeichel? On to question 3. Which keeper has saved the most penalties in the Premier League? David De Gea, David James, or David Seaman? Which one of those 3 has saved the most penalties in the Premier League? Speaking of De Gea, question 4. From which club did Man United sign the Spaniard in 2011? Was it Atletico Madrid? Was it their crosstown rivals Real Madrid? Or was it Barcelona? Where did De Gea come from? In my case, where did it go? But where did De Gea come from for Man United? Was it Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, or Barcelona? Question 5. Which of those 3 keepers made over 500 appearances in the Premier League? Shay Given, Tim Howard, or Mark Schwarzer? These are tough. Question 6 then. Which goalkeeper holds the record for the most consecutive Premier League clean sheets? Your options: Pepe Reina, Peter Schmeichel, or Edwin van der Sar. Which one of those has the record for most consecutive Premier League clean sheets? Question 7. Since the 2006-2007 season, which goalkeeper has made the most saves in the Premier League? So since 2006-07, which goalkeeper has made the most saves in the Premier League? Ben Foster, Robert Green, or Simon Mignolet? Question 8. Paul Robinson holds the Premier League record for the most goals conceded against a single team. But which side is it that puts 60 goals past him? Arsenal, Chelsea, or Manchester United? Which one of those three clubs put 60 goals past Paul Robinson, and thus he holds the Premier League record for most goals conceded against a single team? We're on to question 9. What nationality is Man City goalkeeper Claudio Bravo? Is he Argentine, Chilean, or Uruguayan? Claudio Bravo, where is he from? That's question 9. And your final question on goalkeepers is this. Aaron Ramsdale and which other goalkeeper have assisted a Premier League goal in this 2019-20 season? Edison, Kepa, or Alisson? So Aaron Ramsdale's assisted a Premier League goal this season. One of those guys has as well. Edison, Kepa, or Alisson. Which? Crikey, we don't hang around on the beautiful quiz, do we? Wow, did you have any more fun with that one, Chris Sutton?
Yeah, I had a couple of answers which froze, so I couldn't get them in, which was slightly disappointing. Norfolk Wi-Fi, but some tough ones there, tougher than the first round.
He's blaming the Wi-Fi. Gone early with that, actually. Peter Crouch, how about you?
Yeah, Wi-Fi's tip-top here where I am. I think I did okay. I actually think I did better than the last round. No Wi-Fi excuses.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's see how the answers spill out. Then how your scores develop. First of all, Duncan, which one of those keepers has not scored a Premier League goal?
That will be Jens Lehmann. Although he did once get 8 yellow cards in a single season, which is pretty decent for a goalkeeper.
But not a goal. Peter, you were on the field actually when another keeper scored, Asmir Begovic, for Stoke against Southampton. Although, as I recall, crucially, you were looking in the wrong direction at the time.
Yeah, the reason I was looking in the wrong direction because I was telling him to calm down. It was a windy day, and he's obviously trying to hit me with the kick out. And I was turned round to say, "Calm down, take a bit off it. It's a windy day." And when I looked round, it had gone in the back of the net. So, yeah, well done.
Wow. Wasn't it always a windy day at Stoke, though?
Yeah, it was, to be honest. And well, he should have been able to deal with that. But yeah, listen, we went 1-0 up, so can't complain.
Well, I suppose not. All right, question 2 then. Which keeper has kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League, Duncan?
Pretty easy one, I think. Petr Cech with 202.
Absolutely. Which keeper has saved the most penalties in the Premier League? This may surprise some people.
Trickier, this one. Perhaps he learnt it on the PlayStation. It's David James with 13.
All right, PlayStation reference tick. Question 4. From which club did Man United sign David De Gea in 2011?
That was Atletico Madrid.
Of course. Which of these 3 keepers made over 500 appearances in the Premier League?
Mark Schwarzer with 514, which is quite a lot.
Wow. It is, isn't it? I think that might have caught 1 or 2 people out. Which keeper, question 6, holds the record for the most consecutive Premier League clean sheets?
Playing for Manchester United, it was Edwin van der Sar with 14 in a row.
Wow. Very impressive. Question 7. Since the 2006-2007 season, which goalkeeper has made the most saves in the Premier League?
Ben Foster with 1,150. And he's also had 3 shots in that period, which I think is more impressive. But, who am I to say?
How are you doing there, Chris Sutton?
Well, I'm 5 out of 7, and then I had the 2 freezes in the last 3 answers. So, I'm doing well. It'll be really interesting. It'll be really, really interesting, these next 3, because I'm going to kick off.
All right. I'm looking forward to that. Question 8 then. Paul Robinson holds the Premier League record for the most goals conceded against a single team, but which team was it?
That was Arsenal. But Robinson has won a penalty, scored a goal, and provided an assist. So who's the real winner? Probably Arsenal.
I don't know. I mean, we'll be finding out, I guess, tonight, Duncan. Yeah, okay. Question 9.
Arsenal.
What nationality is Man City goalkeeper Claudio Bravo?
He's Chilean.
Correct. Question 10. Aaron
Chilean.
Ramsdale and which other keeper assisted a Premier League goal in the 2019-20 season?
That'll be Mr. Allison.
All right. Okay. Well, while you collate all the numbers filtering down on your screens in green, let's just check in then. How did those last three questions go for you, Chris Sutton? Will you now kick off?
I got 8. I'm going to kick off. I got 8 out of 10. So I need my score upgraded. It said 6 on the. Yes, but they only gave me 6 because of my Wi-Fi. Technically, I got 8. I'm glad you know that, James, and I'm glad Peter knows that.
Oh, hold on a minute. You can't start blaming Wi-Fi and adding scores that you got wrong. That's outrageous.
You know what it's like here, Peter.
Listen, mate, you've got Wi-Fi. Tell me that.
Right, we'll
Come on, James. What are we going to do, James?
There's nothing I can do for you, Chris. There's nothing I can
Nothing
do.
we can do.
The computer says very much no. Duncan, what are the leaderboards telling you?
Well, I've delved, and a lot more people got 10 out of 10 in that round than they did in the first round. But we are now left with a battle, a big 2 at the top as it stands, with a 100% record. Zadok the Priest, who we all respect, and Mr. Wenger. I'm not sure if that's the actual Mr. Wenger, but they're both on 20 out of 20. So fair play.
Probably. I mean, can't be that many of them. All right, we'll move on to round 3 then, which is who am I? Sort of question you're probably already asking yourself after 2 months of lockdown. But what we're after here is the name of the player that our clue describes. We're only going to give you 5 questions this time, and you will have an enormously generous 40 seconds on the clock for each one. But you do need to type in the answer this time. You have to be quite careful, I think, with the spelling. All right, 40 seconds per question, 5 questions. Who am I? Round 3 starts now. Question 1. I started my career with Norwich before going on to win league titles in both England and Scotland. I shared the Golden Boot in 97-98, and I also played in the Champions League for Chelsea. Who could that possibly be? I'll run you through it again. I started my career with Norwich before going on to win league titles in both England and Scotland. I shared the Golden Boot in 97-98, and I also played in the Champions League for Chelsea. If you've been paying attention, I think you might know the answer to that one. Remember to get the right number of letters in. Don't want to misspell that name. On to question 2 then. Who is this? My first Premier League club was Everton, and I'm one of just 4 players to have won 3 Premier League titles with Arsenal. I played 43 times for England, scoring twice. Interesting. All right, so first Premier League club was Everton, and one of only 4 players to have won 3 Premier League titles with Arsenal, and got 43 caps for England, scoring 2 goals for the national side. Who could that be? I might throw 1 or 2 people. Those 2 there, by the looks of it. All right, then. Question 3. I made my Premier League debut in 1997, and I won the competition for the only time in 2011. I finished my career with Stoke, having scored 150 Premier League goals. Interesting. I made my Premier League debut in 1997, winning the competition in 2011, and finishing my career at Stoke, having scored 150 Premier League goals. Which Premier League star does that refer to? Two more missing identities for you to find. Here comes the next of them. I spent most of my career with Liverpool and have won the Champions League twice. I finished my Premier League career with Man City and was one of 4 England players in the Euro 96 team of the tournament. Okay, so started my career with Liverpool, won the Champions League twice, finished my Premier League career with Man City, and was one of 4 England players selected for the Euro 96 team of the tournament. Who could that be describing? Certainly want to be careful of the spelling with there. Now, question 5. to round up the Who Am I round of this quiz. Taking us indeed to the midway point of this beautiful quiz. I started my career with Luton and scored in a major European final for Arsenal. After being relegated from the Premier League in consecutive seasons, I then went to Scotland, where I won 3 league titles. Started his career with Luton, scored in a major European final for Arsenal, got relegated from the Premier League in consecutive seasons, and then went to Scotland, where, as you do, you won 3 league titles. Who was that? Wrapping up time on your Who Am I answers. We'll have on your questions rather. We'll have the answers for you in a second or two with Duncan. But Chris, I got a feeling you might have done better on this one.
100% here. Yeah, comfortable round for me. Yeah, no doubts about that.
All right. What about you, Peter?
Easy.
Yeah, I was comfortable. I was happy with it. I'll be honest. The Everton Arsenal one is embarrassing, but it stumped me. It stunned me. The second question, I think it was. I just can't.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, well, I love the way you haven't lost that classic footballer at the end of a fixture thing. Yeah, it's been a difficult one, but I'm taking it one round at a time. Just happy to get that one under our belts, and we'll move on. So let's get some answers for you, Peter. First of all, started the career with Norwich before going on to win league titles with both England and Scotland, shared the Golden Boot in 97-98 and also played in the Champions League for Chelsea. Who on earth could that be?
It has to be Chris Sutton.
Woohoo!
Do you know what, though? I don't know whether my mum would be happy with Chris, because Christopher, she called me. So does Chris count? I mean, I've put Christopher down.
Wow. Right. I can amend it in the database.
And I am that person.
Right.
Who
calls you Christopher apart from your mother?
This has got
Chris,
more
who calls you?
Only my mother. Only my
right,
mother.
okay.
But I'm just saying.
Is she playing tonight?
Yeah.
Is she playing tonight?
I don't think she gets good enough Wi-Fi, James. She doesn't get good enough Wi-Fi.
Right, okay.
You should know that.
Fair enough. All right, we'll move on, everyone. Question 2. My first Premier League club, this is the one that Peter had 1 or 2 difficulties with. My first Premier League club was Everton. I'm one of just 4 players to have won 3 Premier League titles with Arsenal. I played 43 times for England, scoring twice. Who am I?
Also a man who's got as many Champions League goals as Eric Cantona. It is Martin Keown.
Wow, that's a remarkable stat. Okay, question 3. I made my Premier League debut in 97, won the competition for the only time in 2011, finished my career with Stoke having scored 150 Premier League goals. Who?
Remains the only player, non-adult, to take a penalty in the Premier League. It is Michael Owen.
All right. Okay. Of course, Peter, you were there when the final chapter was happening.
Yeah, he retired. I was playing the day he retired. It was a sad day down at St Mary's. Yeah, he didn't get many chances at Stoke, as many as he deserved, really. But what a career he had.
You were keeping him out of the team, of course. All right, question 4. I spent most of my career with Liverpool and won the Champions League twice. I finished my Premier League career with Man City and was one of 4 England players in the Euro 96 team of the tournament. And I'm a nightmare to spell. Who am I?
Steve McManaman.
That's correct. All right. And finally then, I started my career with Luton and scored in a major European final for Arsenal, got relegated from the Premier League in consecutive seasons and won 3 league titles in Scotland. Who's that then?
And got sent off twice with 3 different Premier League teams, which is pretty impressive. John Hartson, that was.
All right. Chris, a teammate of yours at Celtic.
Yeah, good player John was. Yeah, he terrific career. Really natural finisher. Maybe had 1 or 2 pizzas too many, but good player John.
All right, fabulous stuff. And so 5 out of 5 for you in that one.
Well, it gave me 4 out of 5, but the one I got wrong.
Which one did you drop?
My name. So who's wrong? I'm right.
So you
Everybody
put
else is wrong.
You put in Christopher.
In.
And it docked you a point.
He got Chris Sutton wrong. How does that work?
That's extraordinary. Chris, this is going to be a quiz question in years to come. Who was the only player to get themselves wrong in a BT Sport quiz?
Yeah, but I'm right. Everybody else is wrong.
Right. Okay.
Well,
Peter, what kind of score did you post on that one?
Yeah, it was just Keown, and all I did was write in Sutton. I didn't even write in Chris or Christopher, and they gave me that one, so I was pleased
Still
with
gave
that.
you
But
the
yeah,
point.
Keown stumped me.
All right. For me. It was the Everton. I wasn't aware that's where the Keown story began. But anyway, let's hear about some people. Let's hear about Zadok the Priest and Mr. Wenger. Are they still 100%, Duncan?
I mean, I can't believe it, but they are. I mean, to be fair, a lot of
way.
people got 5 out of 5 in this round. A lot of people. I'm officially calling it the easiest round of the quiz so far. But you can't knock Mr. Wenger and Zadok the Priest.
Okay, all right then. You can't knock the Wi-Fi where they are, certainly. Now, round 4, excitingly, is a video round with actual action. It's all about the Champions League. We'd like you to watch the footage and then answer the questions that follow. Here we go with the video round. All right, here we are. We're at Hampden Park, Glasgow. It's 2002, the Champions League final. That is, it's the greatest ever goal in the Champions League final. Zinedine Zidane scored it, of course. Just extraordinary. We want to know, though, who provided the assist? Oh, that's fiendish. So Zinedine Zidane with the greatest ever Champions League final goal. Real Madrid beating Bayer Leverkusen, picking up a second Champions League crown in 3 years. But that's not what we want to know. We want to know who put the ball in for Zidane. Which Real Madrid player? Really going to test your memory and how closely you were paying attention to that clip. One of that Real Madrid Galactico team, but which one? All right, question 2 then. Against which side did Lionel Messi once score 5 goals in a single Champions League game? All right, 5 goals in a single game by Leo Messi. He scored loads of goals against loads of opponents, 114 in the Champions League indeed, against 34 different teams. He scored 3 or more in a match on 8 occasions, but only once 5 against a single opponent in a single match. But who? Question 3. Oh, look, they're coming out for the 2006 Champions League final. This is at Stade de France en Paris. It's Arsenal against Barcelona. In that match, who became the first ever player to be sent off in a Champions League final? So it was 2006, Arsenal taking on Barcelona. You remember the game. And this was a pivotal moment as one player picked up a red card, the first player ever to take an early exit, to be sent off in the Champions League final. But who was it? Question 4 then. Which was the first English stadium to host a Champions League final? First English stadium to host a Champions League final. So far, there have been 27 Champions League finals. They've been played in 21 stadia across 19 cities in 14 different countries. 6 of those stadia have hosted the showpiece twice. But what we want to know is, which was the first English ground to host the Champions League's final game? And your final question in the video round. Oh, look, there's Leo Messi being special. Oh, he's brilliant. Who else is good? Oh, this fellow. Crikey, look at that. Absolutely destroying Juventus Cristiano Ronaldo. What did Juve do? They went and bought him. All right, they're both great, and we know that. And they've scored buckets of goals, the pair of them. But apart from Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, who is the highest scorer in Champions League history? Who was the guy who held the highest goal tally before these two guys came along and changed the game for everybody? Who is that player? That is the answer we need for question 5. Just while we're here, I might as well point out that Ronaldo's got 128 goals and Messi's only 114. All right, I love that video round. I'm not sure if Chris and Peter did, though. Peter, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Good. That's important.
Could be
That's
better.
important. All right, Chris. Chris, could this be where you steal a march on your rival?
You're not going to believe this, James. I had a Wi-Fi freeze for the first 2 questions.
Oh, have a look.
You're not going to believe that. I think I got
That's a
2.
shame, isn't
I
it?
think I got 2 right. It'll be interesting. Tough round, that. Tough round.
Tough round.
Okay. I mean, you probably need to change your broadband provider, but I'm not going to ask on here which one it is because it could get very ugly. Duncan, let's get some answers to that video round then. Okay, question 1, first of all. Who provided the assist for Zinedine Zidane's wonder goal in the 2002 Champions League final?
Well, it came from the left flank, and it was, as you might expect, Roberto Carlos.
I got that.
Nailed it.
Yep. All right. Question 2, Duncan. Which side did Lionel Messi get the 5 goals against in a single Champions League game?
That was by Leverkusen. Pretty impressive to get 5 goals, something Sunderland didn't manage in the 2010s until 2015. So Messi just 3 years ahead of them. So fair play.
Sorry, how do you mean?
Well, Sunderland didn't score 5 goals in a game until 2015. So Messi just edged them by 3 years.
Okay, nicely done. Question 3. In 2006, who became the first player ever sent off in a Champions League final?
He appeared earlier. It was Jens Lehmann.
Right. He was really bitter about it, wasn't he? A bitter lemon. I'll move on. Question 4. Which was the first English stadium to host a Champions League final?
Now, I think this was the question that got tricky for a lot of people when I was looking at the data coming in. It was Old Trafford in 2003 for a tactical classic.
It was Milan-Juve 0-0 after 120 minutes. That's why everyone's forgotten about that game. Did you get that one, Peter?
I did get that. I did.
Chris?
No, I went Wembley.
Yeah, I mean
Barcelona,
that was the
Sampdoria.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm with you on that, but no Old Trafford 2003. Finally, then from the video round, other than Cristiano Ronaldo and
was I
Lionel
right
Messi,
or wrong?
who?
That was Christopher.
Oh, am I not?
That
No,
was
no,
European.
I said Old Trafford. Old Trafford.
I went to that game, by the way. Was it 91 at Wembley? Barcelona, Sampdoria?
92.
I was there.
Summer 92.
Nin-
Sorry, Chris.
92,
No,
yeah.
Summer 92. That was the old European Cup final, and then the Champions League started afterwards
European
from
Cup.
93.
Oh,
Yeah. So Anyway, sorry. Right. Question 5. And it was lovely that you went to the game. I think you were saying, Crouchy. We'll come back to you in a second. But other than Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, who is the highest goal scorer in Champions League history?
He was top for a long time. It was Raul.
71 goals. Chris, how many did you get in the Champions League?
I don't know actually.
I've got 5 in. I mean, I haven't, but
some
for you, I've got 5 in 6. That's pretty good.
No, I've got more than that. I think you.
Yeah. I don't think we're
Yeah,
counting
it's got some good
preliminaries
ones.
or times when your Wi-Fi went. What about you, Peter Crouch? For you, and these figures might be entirely wrong. These figures might be entirely wrong. I've got 13 and 11. Does that sound right?
13 goals and 11. I knew
that doesn't sound
I
possible.
think it might be 11 and 13, but I do know that
makes
it's more
more
than
sense.
Brazilian. I do know that it's more than Brazilian
it's 13.
Ronaldo.
Wow. Right.
How's that
Duncan,
for a
will you
stat?
just give me a confirmation on those numbers?
Yeah, it's 13. Peter's got 13. It's level with Carsten Janker and Jan Koller. It seems to be a high watermark for high men. So
Right. That's
take
impressive company. All right. Let's see what's happening on the leaderboards then. What's going on with Zadok the Priest and Mr. Wenger?
well, I think Zadok the Priest didn't get the Old Trafford answer because he has slipped behind Mr. Wenger, who's now the outright leader on 30 out of 30. But there's a little pack forming behind them, including Mockingbird and Pidodinend. Hope I've pronounced that right, Mr. Pidodinend. So yeah, it's all to play for as we push on.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 more rounds to go. Zadok the Priest, of course, is the piece of music, the Handel piece of music that the Champions League theme is based on. So Nice little reference there. Hey, on to round 5, which is the missing link round. We're going to give you 4 names and the thing that connects them, and we need you to answer with the missing name, the 5th element, if you will. We're going to give you, again, 45 seconds of thinking time for each one of these questions. And again, Chris, you need to take care with your spelling. All right? If we're all ready, we're on to round 5. Okay, question 1. The last 5 managers to win the Premier League: Pep Guardiola, Antonio Conte, Claudio Ranieri, Jose Mourinho, and before him, who? So, in reverse order, the last 5 managers to win this Premier League: Pep Guardiola, before him, Antonio Conte, before him, incredible, Claudio Ranieri, and before him, very, always special, Jose Mourinho, and before him, who? Tricky, isn't it?
Easy.
Alrighty. Easy? Easy, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then we'll move on to question 2 then. Now, this one is the last club to finish bottom of the Premier League. And again, it's in reverse order. So, Huddersfield Town last season. Before that, West Bromwich Albion were bottom. Before that, Sunderland were bottom. Then, a missing team. And before them, QPR. So, who was it who finished bottom of the Premier League, 4 seasons ago? Which team went down with that ignominy hanging around them? Joining Huddersfield, West Brom, Sunderland and QPR in a hall of shame. Hearing noises from Chris and Crouchy. It's a tough one, that, isn't it? These seasons blend into one. We'll move on to question 3. 5 players to have scored 5 goals in a Premier League match. Andrew Cole, Alan Shearer, Jermaine Defoe, Dimitar Berbatov, and who? 5 players who managed to score 5 goals in a single Premier League match. Andrew Cole, Alan Shearer, Jermaine Defoe, Dimitar Berbatov, and one other player. Yes, it was him. Excellent. That's question 3. Don't think we need the full 45 seconds on that one, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. If you play Fantasy Premier League, you probably know the answer to that. So, on to question 4. Dutch players who have scored hat-tricks in the Premier League since the turn of the millennium. Since the year 2000, you've had Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, you've had Ruud van Nistelrooy, you've had Dirk Kuyt, you've had Jorginho Wijnaldum, and one other player. High-scoring Dutchman in the Premier League is not on that list. Let's see. There's Hasselbank. There's Van Nistelrooy, Dirk Kuyt, Wijnaldum. There's another.
I've had a nightmare. I pressed submit before I entered anything.
Oh no way!
I pressed submit.
That Wi-Fi is too quick there.
Mate, I can't believe it.
You know, the pressure at this level. And it's such fine margins. Anyway, question 5 then. The 5 managers who have taken charge of 500 or more Premier League matches. 4 of them are Arsene Wenger, Sir Alex Ferguson, David Moyes, and Big Sam Allardyce. Who is the missing man from that list? He's been in charge of more than 500 Premier League matches. Who is he? Part of that select quintet. Wenger's in there, which is nice for him because he's playing quiz tonight. Sir Alex Ferguson, David Moyes, and Big Sam Allardyce. Long and storied career. Which is the other player we're missing? Which is the other manager we're missing there? All right. We're done with all of that. We can check in again with Crouchy and Chris. So, Crouchy, you had that submission that you submitted too early. An unwanted submission.
Terrible. I had a nightmare there. I submitted one without putting an answer in, and another one I took too long to put it in. So it was a terrible play from me.
Right. That's disappointing, isn't it? Chris, you look disappointed.
No, I'm sorry to hear that, Peter. I'm sorry to hear that. I had a particularly good round. I'd be surprised if I didn't get 5.
Right. I'd be quite surprised if you did get 5 based on the track record so far. But hey, let's find out. Let's check in with Duncan the answers of the Premier League missing link round 5. This was. So first off, Duncan, who was the missing manager? Who the person who won the Premier League before Jose Mourinho?
That was Manuel Pellegrini.
Of course. All right. Question 2. Yes. Which was the club that finished bottom of the Premier League before Sunderland and after QPR?
Well, they've since returned. It is Aston Villa.
Of course. Villa. All right, then. Question 3. The 5 players who have scored 5 goals in a Premier League match, you had Cole, Shearer, Jermaine Defoe and Dimitar Berbatov. Who was the other one?
Surely everyone remembers this. It was, of course, Sergio Aguero.
Right. You guys both got that. That wasn't your early submission, was it, Peter?
No, yeah, we got that. Yeah, no worries.
All right. Good. All right. Dutch players scoring hat-tricks. Did you? No way. Chris?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
To be honest, James, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. We'll move on. Dutch players scoring hat-tricks in the Premier League. Who was the missing name, Duncan?
The top scoring player with his weaker foot, his chocolate leg, as he used to call it. He still does, I'm not sure. It's Robin van Persie.
Imagine having a chocolate leg. That'd be amazing. Anyway, yeah, it was Robin van Persie. Question 5 then. The 5 managers to have been in charge for 500 or more Premier League games. Who was the missing man on this?
That was Mr. Harry Redknapp.
Of course. A vast proportion of those plus 500 games in your company, Peter Crouch.
Yeah, if I'd have got that wrong, my dad wouldn't have been happy, so I couldn't possibly have got that wrong.
Right. What makes Harry special for you? What's the one thing that makes him different to all other managers?
Just amazing. He believed in me, and he was fantastic for me my whole career. Really, he sold me more times than he bought me, believe it or not. But he just got the best out of me, and he simplified everyone's game. And I've got a lot of time for Harry.
Right, he sold you more times than he bought you.
He did, believe it or not. You know, everyone says let's get the band back together. Me, Nico, and Jermaine Defoe. But yeah, he actually did. But it worked out the best for me. I moved to Liverpool for one of those, and Aston Villa when I was 19. So I can't complain too much.
No, indeed. Brilliant. All right, nice one. Let's move on then to the final round. Oh, sorry, Duncan. Let's get some leaderboard action. First of all, what's the story with Zadok the Priest?
Yeah, well, I'm afraid Zadok the Priest is now 2 behind Mr. Wenger, who's stretching ahead on 33. So, yeah, I mean, it's a long time since we've seen Mr. Wenger win a league, but we're edging closer, aren't we? So.
Right. Is the technology able to tell us where Chris and Crouchy are? Oh, possibly. Actually, maybe you can tell us yourselves, actually.
No, not possible.
My Wi-Fi probably is though, Peter. How many people have we got competing at the
moment? We've got just over 1,000 people, so it's a pretty
nice one. And where are you at the moment, Chris?
Well, I've got my score. I'm not counting the score I've been given because of the Wi-Fi, but my genuine score is 12.
Ironically, the Wi-Fi went, for me at least, I have no idea what score you just said. But since it's largely irrelevant, we can just move on. Peter, you're not going to tell us where you stand?
I'm just above Chris.
No, I'm not talking about, literally. But where are you in the quiz?
Unfortunately, I'm 283rd.
Oh, that's not too bad. I mean, not too bad.
Could be worse.
Well, we'll see. Maybe you can climb into the real upper echelons with the final round, which is Premier League winners. We're going to give you 10 questions here about Premier League champions. This time we're going to give you 30 seconds to answer each one. Final round of the beautiful quiz starts here. Question 1. Leicester. Who was top scorer in their 2015-2016 title triumph? Incredible part of an incredible story, and no question, who was the player who caught everyone's imagination that year? Almost earned himself, or potentially there was a move in store, but I mustn't give him too much away. Who was their top scorer, the Foxes, when they won the Premier League title in 2015-2016? All right, on to question 2 then. In what year did Chelsea claim their first Premier League title? Again, there's no multiple choice here. You have to type in the answer. Chelsea claiming their first Premier League title. What year was that? Seems a long time ago now. But was it? Was it that long ago? Question 3 then. When we're ready. How many Premier League titles have Manchester United won in total? No question, they've been the dominant team in terms of winning the Premier League, but how many times have they been champion of the division since '92 when the Premier League began? How many Premier League titles for Man United? Alrighty, moving on to question 4. Who was Blackburn captain when they lifted the title in the 94-95 season? Blackburn won the title famously in 94-95. Who was their captain? So many great players in that team. Which one wore the armband, famously lifting the Premier League trophy that day at Anfield? Ooh, do you know what? It was 25 years ago today, wasn't it? Good Lord. Right, well, you know, maybe we can get a bit of a recollection from somebody about that very shortly. But in the meantime, we're on to question 5, which is true or false. In their 3 title-winning seasons put together, did Arsenal lose more matches at home than they did away from home? So their 3 title-winning seasons put together, did Arsenal have more defeats at home than they had away from home? True or false? So essentially, true that they did, false that they didn't. True if you think that they did lose more matches at home than they did away from home. Oh, we're on to question 6. Who assisted Sergio Aguero's title-winning goal on the final day of the 2011-2012 season? We can all remember the commentary, I'm sure. Aguero. But who was it who put the balls through for him? Pretty famous assist, that one. For a very famous goal. On to question 7. Which player won a Premier League title with 2 different clubs in the 1990s? The Premier League champion at 2 different clubs in the 1990s. Which player is that? Surprised there's only one of them, but which player won a Premier League title with 2 different clubs in the 1990s? Only 3 more questions left in the beautiful quiz. Here comes the next of them. Who was the first African player to win a Premier League title? This one, I think, may catch a few people out. We'll be seeing very shortly, but the first African player to win a Premier League title. So many candidates. Wonder if you'll get the right one. First African player to win a Premier League title. Alrighty, moving on then to question 9. Ryan Giggs and one other player won more than 10 Premier League titles. Who was the other player who did that? So Ryan Giggs won 10 or more than 10 Premier League titles. Who was the other player who also achieved that? Once again, Ryan Giggs and which other player won more than 10 Premier League titles? How are you doing? One final push then over the line, because this is the last question of tonight's beautiful quiz, and it is: who is the only player to play for Chelsea in all 5 of their title-winning campaigns? Who is that then? Featured in all 5 of Chelsea's title-winning campaigns. Highs and lows at Stamford Bridge, and he was there for all of them. Who was it? That's the final question then from tonight's beautiful quiz. Very, very shortly we'll get the last 10 answers and find out who our first beautiful quiz champion is. Alrighty. Wow, how'd you feel, Chris? You've been put through it tonight.
I think the wheels came through that round.
No.
I didn't get the Premier League player who won the title twice, but I think I know who it is now. Can I submit that? Will you allow that?
Yeah. We'll come to you for the answer on that one then. What about you, Peter? How did you feel?
Yeah, similar to Chris there on that question, but no, I felt a lot better. Quite confident on that round.
All right. Let's see if your confidence is misplaced or not. Duncan, let's have the answers. Who was Leicester's top scorer in 2015, 2016?
Nice, easy one to start. Jamie Vardy with 24.
Boom. Question 2. Which year was it when Chelsea claimed their first Premier League title?
2005.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Question 3. How many Premier League titles have Man United won in total?
The key here was Premier League, not overall, and it's 13.
All right. Did you guys get that, Chris? Crouchy?
I went for 12.
I went overall. I know it's 19, isn't it? If you include before
20,
the Premier League.
Yeah, but we weren't.
Well, there you go.
But anyway, all right.
I was wrong on that
On
as
to, hey, this one's good for you, Chris. Who was the Blackburn captain when you lifted the title in 94-95?
Tim Sherwood. Even I got that one.
It was.
Good captain.
Yeah, it was Tim Sherwood. Absolutely. All right, then. Question 5.
Can we
True
have-
or false? Yes, hello,
Do we
Peter?
do we have to involve Chris in every question? Can we have some questions that involve me? He's had like 3 questions that have been answered have been Chris Sutton or his team.
That is true.
But you got one of them wrong.
Who devised this?
True.
Yeah. Still, I suppose, 2 out of 3. No, yeah, 2 out of 3 you got right. So that's, in terms of throw, it's not
2 out of
that
3
bad.
ain't
Anyway, Peter, answer this question for us. True or false? In their 3 title-winning seasons combined, Arsenal lost more home matches than they did away. True or false?
I went true.
Well, you were right.
You're right to go
It was
true.
true. Yes.
Thank you.
Very nice. All right. Who assisted Sergio Aguero's title-winning goal on the final day of 11-12?
His only ever Premier League assist, it was Mario Balotelli.
It certainly was.
Yeah.
Why always him except for assists, in which case why never him? Question 7, apart from that one time. Which player, here it was, Chris, which player won a Premier League title with 2 different clubs in the 1990s? You know now, don't you?
Yeah, as long as you give that to me, that point, then I'll tell you.
Go on, you can have it, Chris. Yes, another of your teammates at Blackburn.
Oh,
I didn't-
great shout.
Chris Sutton,
I didn't
bias
get it in time,
continues. Oh, I'm sorry about that. All right, this was a tricky one. Question 8, Duncan. I don't know if you can see how many people got this one correct, but who was the first African player to win a Premier League title?
Yeah, only 7 people got this one right, including someone called I Belong to Jimbo. So I don't know what the
nice.
connection is there, but
All right,
maybe
I'll
it
be
does.
around to collect.
Yeah.
What's the answer then?
The answer is Christopher Wray.
Christopher Wray at Arsenal.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I went for
I think that
Kanu.
noise says it all. Yeah, I mean, it's a good shout, but not the right one. Question 9 then. Ryan Giggs and which other player
Yes.
won more than 10 Premier League titles, Duncan?
Paul Scholes.
And question 10, final question. Who is the only player to play for Chelsea in all 5 of their title-winning Premier League campaigns?
Captain, leader, final answer, John Terry.
Absolutely. Another of your teammates, Chris Sutton. You're right, Peter Crouch. The Sutton bias of this quiz. It's almost like this is your life, Chris Sutton, in quiz form.
Yeah, I feel slightly uncomfortable about it, but clearly I think I must have finished on top of Peter.
Well, listen,
All right. Well,
there's Blackburn questions. There's Blackburn questions. There's Chris Sutton questions. So I have a point. Can I have a point even though I missed the time? It's ridiculous. I'm not doing this again.
Well, that's a shame.
There's a good chance we won't be invited again.
Let's no. I mean, well, let's see. I mean, we're hoping to be back next week, and I've had great fun with you guys. So perhaps you'll change your mind. Let's find out anyway how you guys did and how it ended up. Did Zadok the priest hang on to top spot? What happened, Duncan?
I mean, it's literally sensational. In what we can only, describe as, our imitating life. Mr. Wenger fell at the last and came fifth. And we have a four-way tie at the top. We've got Rich B17, Mockingbird, Aid, and Temporary Wings all on 40 points. So,
right.
Yeah.
All on 40 points. Now, I believe that this means we go to a tiebreaker. Is that right, Duncan?
It is indeed, yeah.
All right. So here's what happens. I read out a tiebreaker question, and everyone can take part in this, but obviously the title is going to go to one of those four people who were tied. The question, you have to choose one of the three options, and the first person to send it in will get the point. That's what we think is going to happen, but what we're hoping anyway is going to get the point, and then we're going to know that they're champions. Anyway, here we go with the question. What is the highest number of goals scored in a single 20-team Premier League season? I've gone early on that, but there it is. What is the highest number of goals scored in a single Premier League season? Is it 1,153, 1,099, or 1,072? Choose one of those three options. And the first person to get it correct will be the champion for this week of the beautiful quiz. Alrighty. It's a lot of goals, isn't it? Highest number of goals scored in a single 20-team Premier League season. Do we have the answer already, Duncan?
We do have both the actual answer and the winner right in front of me. Oh. So the answer to the question was 1,072 goals, which was last season. Bonanza, I think they call it. And yeah, I now have the person who's won right in front of me. So let me know when you want to know.
Well, I think we want to know right now. Who is the winner of our first beautiful quiz? Okay.
The winner is, drum roll, Aid. I was hoping for more syllables, but it is Aid. So congratulations to Aid.
Good.
Well done to Aid. Absolutely outstanding performance. So, Aid, the champion. Peter Crouch, are you willing to talk about your final position at the end of that?
Yeah, I think, out of as many people that played, I think 289th was spot on, really, for me.
Okay. So you more or less maintained your position in that final round. What about you, Chris? Despite all the many problems there with Wi-Fi and high beams and Norwich.
Yeah, well, I'm going to speak to my Wi-Fi provider. The score which
I thought you were going to speak to your wife,
table,
actually.
Well,
she wrote the quiz, didn't she? She wrote the quiz.
Yeah, we occasionally speak, me and my wife.
She did actually. Yeah.
Okay,
but yeah, which I was given was 270, but I got probably 5 more than that because of the Wi-Fi dropping in and dropping out. So I'm pleased with that.
So you finished 270th.
Yes.
Higher than Peter Crouch.
But that wasn't reflective of my proper score because Christopher was, I got that right. Everybody else got that wrong, James.
Right. Well,
so if I do come back next week, these are things which need tweaking.
Absolutely. There are one or two wrinkles that we need to sort out. No question about it. But thank you so much for being with us today. And I can only hope that we see you again next time round. Many thanks to everyone who took part in this. big congratulations to Aid, our first ever beautiful quiz champion. I hope you've enjoyed the quiz. Hope you've enjoyed Duncan's questions. Duncan, has been a blast having you alongside to give us all the answers. And I know you'll be back here next week. I will be too. So hopefully you'll all join us again for the beautiful quiz in 7 days' time. Cheerio for now, everyone.